Hello, my friends. It has been a second since I have seen you, and by a second, I do mean 6 months. So it's been a minute. My hair is black now. I'm no longer in my blonde era because I have student loan repayments now, and I can't afford my blonde era anymore. So to go into a quick rundown of why you didn't see me for 6 months, I am in school now for research psychology, and I'm in my master's now, so that's happy, yay, fun, exciting. Last semester, I was working near full-time. I also had an internship. I was also volunteering, as much as I could, and then I also was taking 6 classes. So I was a little crazy. I didn't have time for anything except school and work. That's all I was doing. That was where my priorities were. That's where they needed to be. Priorities ended up paying off. I got good grades. I was making the money that I needed to make. The downside is that I think I died, because at the end of the semester, right in the middle of finals, I got RSV, and it took me 4 weeks to get over completely, so the entirety of my break. And then directly after that, literally a week and a half maybe after getting over it completely and coming back home and finishing out my break, the week before school starts, I got kidney stones. Yeah, I just scheduled my surgery. Today, and I've never had surgery before, so I'm actually quite scared about that because I have to go under general anesthesia, and I'm really nervous because I've never had to go under general anesthesia before. But this is actually a reading vlog, so that's my little life update for 2024. I hope that your 2024 is much less eventful than mine. So, with all that being said, this is still a reading vlog, and the reading vlog is for somebody else controlling my TBR. So lovely Victoria is controlling my TBR for the month, and she has given me 5 things to read. I will pop them over here. And so far, I have read 2 out of 5, and that was Sacrifice by Katie Roberts and My Boyfriend is a Bear. Both of these things were very interesting, but before I get into that, I do want to get into some books that I picked up today after I scheduled my surgery because I panicked because I've never had surgery before. So, the hospital that I went to was right next to a Barnes & Noble and also the Strand, and so I went to Barnes & Noble to return a book for the first time in my life. I returned Gothicana because I bought it on impulse, and then my friend started reading it, and it was bad. When I tell you, it wasn't even silly, goofy bad. It was just straight up bad. I had to return it. I'm sorry. And instead, I picked up from Barnes & Noble a book that I've been wanting to read for a while, Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsujimura. And this looks really interesting. It's one of my friend Nikki's favorite books of all time. It got a manga adaptation. I'm pretty sure it also got an anime adaptation or a movie adaptation, something like that. And it's a book about this girl who's basically a shut-in, and she's very lonely. She's going through depression, and she goes through her mirror, and in this place there's 6 other people, and they have to find out how to get back home, but also they're finding out more about each other and curing loneliness. So this is one that has been on my radar for a really long time. And then I went to the Strand because last night I was on Discord with the Discord girlies, and we were talking about our Shakespeare collection, because if you have not seen this tweet, 1, ML Rio, you are so fucking real for that. 2, we then started talking about our Shakespeare collections and our favorite Shakespeare plays. We're all fucking basic. So all of our favorite plays are Macbeth. My second favorite play is Much Ado About Nothing. Again, I'm a basic bitch, okay? I'm not a Shakespeare scholar. I am not a Shakespeare theorist. I have not read a lot of Shakespeare. So I picked up some Shakespeare plays that I want to read. I picked up one that I legitimately have never even heard of. I picked up Cymbeline by, obviously, William Shakespeare. And this is one that I genuinely have just never heard of. This is one of his later works, one of the last things that he wrote. And it's more whimsical, more fairy tale-like. The one that I actually wanted to get was Titus Andronicus, because I have not read it, and it was one of the plays that was used in one of my favorite books last year, Enter the Body by Joy McCullough, which I think everybody and their mother should read. And then I also grabbed The Turn of the Screw, which I get confused constantly with The Taming of the Shrew. So what did I've never read either. So I picked up The Taming of the Shrew, and I also picked up The Turn of the Screw. Very similar titles. I'm really excited to read Titus Andronicus. But when it comes to the TBR that Victoria built for me, I'm currently reading Lore Olympus, and it's free online still. And volume 1 captures episodes 1 through 25. So I'm on episode 4. I have read Sacrifice by Katie Roberts, and I'll get into that in a more formal clip. And then I also read My Boyfriend is a Bear, which I will also talk about later in a more formal clip. But right now I'm reading Lore Olympus. It's actually not bad so far. I saw a lot of people ragging on it as it got more popular for having some certain ideas or the artwork or the character design. I think it's much more lore heavy than I was expecting. I'm also going to be reading Fence by C.S. Pacat, and then also the Cursed Princess Club, which is also free on Webtoon. And I'm going to be reading the first season. There's 4 seasons, so I'll be reading the first season of that. So most of it is actually graphic novels. So I will be back to talk to you people about what I thought of Sacrifice by Katie Roberts. But today I'm going out to dinner with a friend. So I'm actually going out with somebody. Everybody cheer. Everybody clap. Everybody cheer. I'm going to go read now. And then I'm going to go to my meeting, and then I'm going to go out to dinner. So I will talk to you guys about Katie Roberts later. I read the first book that Victoria recommended me, and that was Sacrifice by Katie Roberts. I had never read a Katie Roberts book before this. I didn't even know the series existed because I only knew of her from the Villain series and the Lore Olympus series. And if there's one thing about Katie Roberts, is that she is going to write smut. That was what she was put on this earth to do, and by God is she doing it. And if there's one thing about Victoria, by God is she reading it. So it's essentially about this girl. Her name is Mina. She's 25, and that's a slay on Katie Roberts for not making her 18. She's 25 years old, and she is half bloodline vampire. So basically, if you've watched the Vampire Diaries, it's essentially the original. So she's half a descendant from one of the 7 original vampires, and half human. And her father has another bloodline vampire under his control, so he sacrifices her to him so she can bear an heir, so he can have control over this other bloodline, because Mina is a Dampier, which is half human, half vampire, and she didn't inherit any magic from his line, so she's basically no better than a human. And so she is sacrificed to be this guy's blood bank and bear an heir, so her father can rule this other bloodline, and if she dies in the process, he doesn't really care. Now there is actually some plot in there if you squint, and the biggest plot is that Mina is not what she seems, but she doesn't know it. Mind you, I was reading this on a public bus. Somebody was sitting directly behind me, and I opened up to the 3rd page, and it's his cock, and I was whoa, not even an introduction. We don't even know her name. I won't lie, the smut was written okay. See, I've been spoiled by people who are not confined by traditional means of publishing. So even indie publishing, there are guidelines, but fanfiction really gets fucking in there, you know? So I have been exposed and spoiled to real smut. But there are some very talented smut writers on AO3, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, I finished the book in a day because it was 150 pages, and it is a wide shoes reverse harem. And I gotta hand it to Katie Roberts for making all of the men bisexual. That was it was a bisexual vampire party. And you know what? I would like to be invited. I actually really dislike it when the reverse harem, none of the men are attracted to each other. And I'm why? That just doesn't seem fun. It just doesn't seem like a fun time. You know what I mean? So thank you to Katie Roberts for feeding my bisexuality. Really, the thing about this book is that it's deeply unserious. You are not supposed to think about it too much. It doesn't try to be a book that makes you makes it seem more serious than it is. This is a silly, goofy time. And you know what? I had a silly, goofy time. It wasn't really to my taste because I deeply hated the main character. Mina was undecisive. It's girl, just fuck him already. We know you're gonna do it. Just do it. She was no, I can't do it because then it's leading into my father's plan. Or no, I can't do it because I'm a strong, independent woman. And it's just sit on him already. Malachi is the first vampire that she interacts with. So there's Malachi, Wolf, and Rylan. And Malachi is the first one in the story. He's there for the majority, and they clearly have the deepest bond. And she's I want to feel trapped by him, so him constantly giving me a choice is not letting me feed that narrative. And so he turns out to be a nice guy, basically, and he is always giving her the choice of consent, the choice of, do you want to continue? Choice. And she doesn't want that because then she has to admit that she's actually falling for him and that he's not controlling her. So I understand that, but it was the conflict for the entirety of the book until the last 10 pages, and I was girl, just do it. And when she finally did it, it was a little like, after all of that, a little underwhelming how it was done. That was Sacrifice, so I'm gonna give it like a 3 out of 5. I thought it was like okay. I won't be continuing most likely because it didn't really hold my attention. It was just like a quick, silly, goofy read, and that was it. I have a research lab meeting that I have to go to right now. And then after I get home, hopefully I will be able to talk to you about My Boyfriend Was a Bear. Hello, I am coming live from my living room after class. So I haven't talked to you guys in like a few days, but today I had my biopsych class, which is actually like very interesting. I love biopsychology, I love neuropsychology, but it's just a lot. It's a big lecture. It's like a 4-hour lecture class. So I got back from class, and before class today I had some downtime like at home before I like left my house, which is good because I watched the entirety of this like gay vampire anime that's been going around on Twitter called Mignon, and it was actually good. I liked it. If you are going to watch it, make sure that when you watch episode 12, you are wearing headphones and or alone, because straight up R-rated sex scene. I wasn't really expecting that because like the whole progression to there had been like PG-13, and I was like, oh. I will say that we're all adults here. I think we're all adults here. That it is genuinely a very well directed sex scene. It was more on the sensual side and showing it as an act of trust and inviting somebody in, and I gotta say, like, I did really respect that, and I think I think it was genuinely just a really well directed sex scene, even though it was gay vampires and a random ass anime that was like 8 minutes long. So kudos to them on that one. Was not expecting that from an indie gay vampire anime, but walked away happy with it, and it was good storytelling. So I mean, I recommend it if you're over 18. So I watched that before I went to class, and then I went to class and I came home and I read a bit of Lore Olympus. I read halfway through what I have to read. So it's free online still, and the first volume is 25 chapters. So I'm kind of like right smack dab in the middle of that, and I am enjoying it. It is definitely not something I think I would have picked up on my own, but I think the art style is cute. I think like the love story so far is pretty cute. Clearly the author knows her shit, and now I can talk about My Boyfriend is a Bear, which is also something that Victoria made me read because that's what this vlog is about. So My Boyfriend is a Bear is about this woman, and I forgot her name already, and she is having relationship problems. She can never like keep a boyfriend. Her old boyfriend is like kind of creepy. She works for a scam company, and she scams people for a living. So she goes out on a camping trip and she meets a literal bear. I thought this was going to be like a shifter thing. One, it's a graphic novel, so that made it kind of cute. But two, like, I did not think it was going to be a literal bear. It is a real bear, like an actual bear. It's personified, like the bear is personified. He gets a job, he wears clothes, he like understands her, they have a language. But it is like a bear, and everybody's like, what the fuck are you doing? This is a real bear. And it's definitely a metaphor for like learning to love yourself and progression, like life progression. But it was kind of crazy. There were some parts where I was like, you know that one gif of Ayo Edebri, and she's like, and it's like, even she was weirded the fuck out. That's how I felt for like half of this. And then the other half was really cute and wholesome because it's like a metaphor for her trying to get her life together and like building confidence. And so I don't think it was quite my cup of tea because it was a literal bear. It was cute, and I think it's like worth the read. It's on Kindle Unlimited, so it's not like I bought it. I didn't really know how to feel about it other than, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I do think cuddling with a bear would cure me. Of what, I'm not sure, but I think everything. So I finished Sacrifice, I finished My Boyfriend is a Bear, I am halfway through Lore Olympus, and then all I have left is Fence after that. So I'm almost done. I think I could probably get it done by this weekend, and then I can move on to the other reading vlog that I have planned. I have 10 a.m.s on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and so tomorrow I've got my 10 a.m., but then my 4:30 class was moved to online, so I can just go home. I can just go home after class, which is really nice, and then have all of that time. So I'm gonna have about like 4 hours in between class to just like chill and read, do some homework. I don't have like a ton of homework that's due or anything. It is about 11:30 now, so I have to do a little bit of homework, and then I am probably going to read the rest of Lore Olympus. and this has been a very successful like reading vlog for me. So far I haven't like disliked anything. I didn't think I would, because Victoria and I's taste lines up pretty evenly, even if they weren't things I'd necessarily reach for on my own or would like rave about. They are things that I am enjoying and finding comfort with. But for now I have to go do homework. Hello, I am back from class. My next class actually starts in like 30 minutes, so I can't stay too long. But I had some errands to do after class, so I didn't get back until like 3 hours after my morning class ended. I remember seeing a long time ago like people talking about the price of fruit in like South Korea and Japan, and I guess it's because like the fruit standards there are higher, and so it has to be made in like a special way, processed in a special way, shipped in a special way, so the fruit is like much more expensive. But even here, a carton of cherries, not even from the farmer's market, was like $8. I'm contemplating just buying this because it was $6.50. But it made me realize I haven't had fruit in a really long time because I hate paying for it. I did have to run some errands. There's a library right near my school, and then there's also a Marshall. So I've got a quick library haul. So the last book that I didn't have that Victoria recommended to me was Fence by C.S. McCat, and I didn't reserve it or anything. The library just happened to have it there, and not only that, they actually had volumes 1 through 3, so I picked up all 3 just in case I liked volume 1, and I'm glad that they just randomly had it there because I really didn't want to read this online. I'm still not done with Lore Olympus. That's probably a tonight thing. I was going to do it last night, but last night I kind of bed-rotted a little bit. And I rewatched Mignon again. Anyway, they also had this comic that I'd never heard of called Lady Killer. This is by Joelle Jones and Jamie S. Rich. And this was in the YA section, but I'm pretty sure it's not YA. They kind of just like bunched all of the graphic novels together because I think people assume that all graphic novels are YA. But this is about a female serial killer. So these were the graphic novels that I picked up. And then I also had to return a bunch of books. And then I also had to renew 2 books. One of them is this poetry collection called Golden Axe by Rio Cortez, and I got like halfway into it before accidentally putting it down, but it was really like interesting so far, so I wanted to renew it so I could finish it once I'm in the mood for poetry again. And then I got about 4 stories into Out There Screaming by Jordan Peele. This is edited by Jordan Peele. And then I went to Marshall's, and I was really strict. I was really good about what I wanted to get because I am a clutter bitch. I am. So I really only got stuff that I needed to replenish. I just ran out of both shampoo and conditioner. So I got this Shy Keratin sampler pack, and it was way too expensive for what it was, like $13 for all 3 of these. But I've seen Keratin, I think it's called, and people have said it's really good for their hair. And my hair has just been really, really, really dry lately. I don't know if it's the weather. I don't know if it's because I've been dyeing my hair for a year straight, but it's just been very dry. So I'm hoping that this will help repair it a little bit. And I just wanted to try it. I didn't want to get the full bottles of anything. I also got pimple patches because I am out of the ones that I've been using. These are just hydrocolloid patches. They're not anything special, but I ran out of the ones that I've been using because they do, at least maybe it's a placebo, like maybe I just think it helps, but for me they have been helping with under the skin. And then I got, just for funsies, these little nose strips, little twin star nose strips, because I ran out of my other ones. And then because in the past like 3 weeks I have broken 2 different mugs, I got a mug to replace the mugs that I broke, and it's just like really cute. It's this little cute mug. This weekend, the goal is to read at least the first volume of Fence and finish Lore Olympus and tell you guys about it, and then close out the vlog, which I think is totally doable. So I have to run to skedaddle to class. It's actually a really exciting class. It's my mentored lab class, and I get to do research, and I'm really fucking loving it. So I have to skedaddle to there. This is kind of a boring update. I didn't even tell you anything about what I'm reading. I am a deeply boring individual. So that's my life update. And I guess I'll tell you when I finish either Lore Olympus or this first. I am back from class, and I'm making a very unhealthy dinner. So today I bought, for the first time in genuine years, you can hear my air fryer going in the background, but for the first time in genuine years, I bought plastic chicken. Do you know how many recalls Tyson has had in the past like several years? Too many for me to have bought any, but I bought chicken nuggets. So there's that, but I figured while that's heating up, I will talk to you about Lore Olympus because I read more, and I'm not gonna lie, I am changing my opinion a bit on it. I don't mind Persephone and Hades being changed into a love story. This is not the first thing that has done it. It will not be the last. Hades and Persephone being a love story is a very popular retelling. It's not a happy story, and very rarely are Greek myths in general happy stories because women were not valued as people. So I think authors taking it and making it a modern day love story, I don't think that's necessarily bad. Where my dislike is coming in is like Persephone is the epitome of like the little, oh my god, she's so small, she's so innocent, she's so itty. Like Hades literally says she's itty bitty, and Hades is like the big broad guy. There's a panel where they're standing, you know, back to chest, and she only comes up to like here on him. But I'm also really not liking that it's the born sexy yesterday trope. If you have never seen this video, when I watched it at 13, it changed my brain chemistry. Born Sexy Yesterday is essentially the trope where there is a female character who is incredibly naive, has just come into this world, but is of age, has sexual desires, and can be lusted after no matter how innocent they are or how childlike their demeanor is. Persephone is basically the epitome of the Born Sexy Yesterday trope, and she trusts anybody within a 5-foot radius. She's just so inherently innocent and like ooh small, and it's just not my favorite dynamic. But my taste in romance is extremely picky because a lot of straight romance comes with gender essentialism, and I'm seeing that a lot in Lore Olympus. Again, not necessarily a bad thing. I don't expect every straight cisgender author to be knowing the ins and outs of gender essentialism and what it means to play into these stereotypes. And I think there is a market for what she's doing. It's just not, like, I am not the target audience. One of the things I'm really not liking is that we're showing that Hades is a better guy than his brothers because he doesn't assault women. You go to a strip club because Zeus invites him to a strip club. Fine, whatever. I do not care. They're all 3 banned. Hades is banned for poaching one of the dancers to work for him. But then Zeus and Poseidon are banned for assaulting the dancers. And I don't like that we're showing that Hades is a better guy than his brothers by showing that he doesn't sexually assault women. And then we're still like supposed to like these characters or find them endearing when we know that they routinely do not respect women or their boundaries, which, yes, that is more true to ancient Greece and ancient Greek myth than anything else that's going on in this story. But I don't understand why that is like a thing or why they've made it a thing. I probably will not continue with Lore Olympus past the 25 chapter mark, I'm sorry. So I think I'm gonna end up joining Cursed Princess Club better. Fence is a definite toss-up, so I will not know until I get to it. I have some updates. I'm speaking to you on the Monday after I last spoke to people on Thursday because Friday through Sunday, don't try to contact me, don't try to call me, don't text, don't come by my house. We're done. I'm doing nothing but working. So I don't even like get any homework done. That's why I have to make sure all my homework is done by Thursday night because I'm way too tired until like Sunday evening to do anything. But I did finish Lore Olympus Volume 1. I almost want to give it a 2-star, but I'm probably going to give it a 3. I'll even it out to like, it wasn't fantastic. It wasn't horrendous. But I am having some beef with what was happening at the end of Volume 1 because the writing is just not good. So without giving away any spoilers, I guess, if you want to read the series, at the end of Volume 1, Persephone is assaulted, essentially, by this guy, and she calls Hades to calm down and, like, doesn't tell him what happened, but she is basically, like, coerced into having sex, and then the person who's doing it takes photos of it, like, while it's happening without her consent. My beef is that why is every villain in this book, every villain in this comic has so far been a villain because they assault or hurt women? And it's just like, we need to come up with another reason why somebody is a bad person without putting all of these women in harm's way. And especially that this book is written by a woman, or I should say graphic novel. This graphic novel is written by a woman. I really don't understand the need to show that every bad person is a bad person because they assault or hurt women. Like, that can't be the only reason why somebody is a villain. But so far, that is how we've gotten our baseline. And not only that, but there's literally not anything else to make them villainous. Like, they don't do anything else except for prey upon women. I just think it's very interesting that we're coming from a legend that in which Persephone is forced by Hades. She is forced to eat the food of the underworld so she can stay there. So I think it's interesting that we're coming from a story that centers around forcing somebody against their will and so much assault, and we're taking that all out of the narrative just to put it back on people we don't like, instead of examining that narrative and changing it for the sake of Persephone and Hades' relationship. I don't think I'm going to be continuing in Lore Olympus because I don't like the way the author is projecting these characters and like writing these characters, but I did start the Cursed Princess Club and I'm looking at so much more. I have to read 29 chapters. I think I'm on chapter 8 because it was slow at work and I was just reading it. And I am liking it so much better. So the Cursed Princess Club is about these, so far, it's about these 3 princesses, and their father announces that they are to marry the princes in the neighboring kingdom to strengthen, like, the alliance between the 2 kingdoms. And all we know is that there's, like, this dark forest where supposedly, like, cursed princesses live. The 3 sisters are not cursed. And one of them is, like, very beautiful. I forgot their names already, but she's blonde, and she's, like, very Cinderella-esque. You know, animals come to help her out. The second one, she grows flowers. She has, like, this power over nature. She's very charming. She's very smart. And then the third one is Gwendolyn. That's the only name I remember. The third one is Gwendolyn, and she is a gremlin, and I love her deeply. She's got, like, jagged teeth and, like, big green hair, and she always attracts, like, possums, and so she's clearly supposed to be, like, cursed. But what I really like about the story is that the sisters don't see her as anything other than a sister, and they love her, and they think she's beautiful, and it's, like, so wholesome and very cute, because it's not, like, the 2 stepsisters thing, because they're all, like, full related, but they are so sweet with each other and they love each other so much. And so the kings come, and the gag is that they have a brother named Jamie, and Jamie is, like, very beautiful, and he gets mistaken as the 3rd daughter. So the 3rd prince does not realize that Gwendolyn is Gwendolyn and is now, like, very wary of marrying her because she's, like, ugly, even though she's very sweet, she's very cute. And I gotta say, when I say silly goofy, I mean this is a comic that's silly goofy, because the characters are just, like, so funny. There's not really a lot going on. It's just, like, a fun slice of life little cartoon, and I'm reading it on Webtoons right now, and I like seeing the comments because there's, like, very little high stakes things going on. So it did make me giggle once or twice. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna continue with that and let you guys know when I'm all done. And then after that, I only have Fence, and then I'm done with the TBR. So with any hope, I can get that done today because they're all graphic novels. I think it's funny that there are so many graphic novels in this TBR because I don't think I read one graphic novel last year. But for now, I have to go prepare to meet with my friend for her study, and then I can read a little bit afterwards, and then I have to go to the post office. But I probably will at least finish Cursed Princess Club today, so I will update you guys when that happens. Hello, and welcome back. And I finished the Cursed Princess Club. It was actually my favorite thing that I have read so far. And I think this is the only thing thus far that I actually, like, actively want to continue reading. I think I'm going to continue reading the comic because it is so stinking cute. It's really cute. And it's really just, like, lighthearted, the plot, while being important, especially, like, for younger kids. This is a good thing to put in their hands, especially kids who feel othered and kids who are maybe reluctant to reading. There's a lot of good messages here without it being overbearing, and it's still, like, silly, goofy. I giggled quite a bit while reading this, I'm not gonna lie. This is definitely a 5-star. I see nothing wrong with it. Like, it's super, super cute, and it's not meant to be, like, super serious. You can tell with the writing and stuff, it doesn't take itself super serious, and I just really, really liked it. And so I think I'm going to continue on reading, but that means that the only thing I have left to read for this video is Fence by C.S. Pacat, and I have that. I checked it out from the library last week, but this week, one of my friends is flying in. Oh, one of my friends, Victoria is flying in. This week Victoria is flying in, so it'd be perfect to like end this, I don't know, where I'm actually with her. Not to be like too mentally distressing here, but I do think that like my friendship anxiety has also gotten really bad recently. I'm like, all of my friends dislike me and they hate me and they're just being nice to me as a front. I don't care that Victoria just gave me an entire TBR for me to read. She just did it because it was fun. And like I know it's ridiculous. I know. And I just have to like, I am basically like DBTing myself. It's so like, I have to laugh. I have to laugh. I have to laugh. But yeah, finish Cursed Princess Club. I'm probably gonna end up buying the physical copies because it's really cute. And I'm planning on doing like an unhaul in the future, so you guys will probably see that, like a spring cleaning. So now I'm gonna move on to Fence and tell you guys what I think of that at the end, and then wrap up my thoughts because I will be officially done with reading Victoria's recommendations. Bonjour tout le monde et welcome back. I finished not one, but all 3 volumes of Fence in one sitting, and thus completes my reading for this reading vlog. It did sort of take 20 days for me to complete this very easy reading vlog, which makes me a little nervous for next month. So I flew through these, by the way. They're very fun. They go very fast, and I'm really liking both the art style and the cast of characters. I believe that our 2 main characters are high school freshmen because they are both in the under 16 category. So our main character is named Nicholas Cox, and he is starting at this fencing academy, but to start at the academy, he has to make the team. And when he gets there, he realizes that the person he lost to in a previous tournament is both his roommate and is also trying out for the team when he thought he was going to like a better school. And it's just like their kind of journey and all about like fencing. And we know within the first volume that Nicholas's father, he's actually the illegitimate child of an Olympic gold medalist for fencing, and so he wants to prove himself, I guess, against that identity because his father has a legitimate child who is like nationally #1 ranked in the under 15 category. But this was really fun. I'm gonna put it in like a solid middle, so now I can do my rankings for everything that I read. I wrote everything down in here. So the first thing I read was Sacrifice by Katie Roberts, and I gave that a 3 out of 5 because I thought it was like silly goofy, and I read it in all of 2 seconds, but I wouldn't say it was like good or really memorable. So right now that is going in 3rd place. Right after that, I read My Boyfriend is a Bear by Pamela Rapon and Kat Ferris. And this one is probably going to go in 4th place. It was really cute, but I think there were some things that I just didn't love about it. And I don't like, I mean, he was like a humanized bear, but I don't like that it was just like a literal bear. Even though like I think if I cuddled with a bear, I would be cured of everything, but I just wish that it had been like a shifter or something because I was a little weirded out, I'm not gonna lie. And then I read Lore Olympus, just volume 1, and for that is going to be in 5th place. That is the last on the spot. I'm sorry, Victoria. I actively disliked Lore Olympus. So the 1st place is gonna go to Cursed Princess Club. I really like this. It was really cute. The 1st volume is 29 chapters, so just a bit longer than Lore Olympus, which I believe was 25, and it was really cute. I really liked it. I think the world building was cute. It is so silly goofy, and it was so cute. Not only that, the writing was like funny and jaunty. There wasn't anything like too serious, but it really, I have to be so serious. This made me cry. There is this point where, you know, Gwen's family does not see her as like cursed or ugly, and they're very protective of her, and they just love her. Like, she's a good person, she's very sweet. Then like Gwen overhears this guy saying that she's ugly and like he doesn't want to marry her. I think anybody who has been othered by society, you know, as somebody who grew up plus size, this was something that I dealt with on a daily basis, especially as somebody with sisters who are all conventionally attractive. And on top of that, also, you know, being a trans person and not fitting into all of the boxes I was supposed to fit into, first as a plus size person and then as a trans person with siblings who did fit into those boxes. I think anybody who felt othered by society will really like this and will really understand it at a different level. And it was just really cute and really adorable. It did make me kick my feet and giggle a little bit. There is also quite a bit of seriousness and a few mysteries that we have to work out as we keep going. This is a graphic novel I would keep reading, and I do plan to keep reading it. It's completed, so there are 4 seasons. I read season 1, and I want to continue with it because it was really cute and it made me tear up, and I love Gwen. Okay, so that means second is Fence by C.S. Bacot and Joanna the Mad. When it comes to sports comics, this is a really good one. I'm not super familiar with Western comics unless it's from like Marvel or DC. I want to get more into indie comics. I think this is a good one to start with. It's easy to follow. There's a limited amount of volumes, widely available. I don't know if I feel like I need this in my collection, but it was really cute. I would definitely read on if I had the chance, but I don't know if I would add it to like my bookshelves or anything like that, but it was really cute and I enjoyed it. This was a really fun challenge. Thank you so much to Victoria for giving me this TBR and for agreeing to do this silly little project. This year being like other people pick my TBR actually came about because of Victoria, because I wanted her to pick my TBR in February. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is fun. And so I reached out to a bunch of other bookish creator friends, and they also agreed to feed into my delusion, and they are all picking my TBR for several months. And I'm really excited to show you who I've got to pick my TBR and what books they pick, because they are all wildly different people with wildly different reading tastes. And I'm excited to see whose tastes I align with the most. So thank you guys so much for watching. Click and all of that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time.